And it's hard for you to understand that, there's people that are actually running their cars on water. And, people are saying, oh, that's impossible. That could never happen. But I want you to think about this, how big is our box? How much can we stretch our box out? So here we have somebody that's actually running their vehicle on water. They're splitting the oxygen. They're doing their oxygen out of the water. Oxygen, hydrogen. They're burning it. Through and it's running. And there are people doing this right now. So that's one step. So the next step would be, well, wait a second. We could create these magnetic motors that need no fuel whatsoever. And, this Earth is just this giant spinning magnet with incredible fields of energy on it. Why not tap that? Why not, make these magnetic motors? And then we can take it one step further, and so now we're without fuel. We have motors without fuel. Let's take it one step further, and let's go into 0 point and tap into that 0 point. This is the energy of creation. This is what set the Big Bang into motion. It's unlimited energy. Now, there are people that have tapped into that, and it's not a problem in going over unity. It's a problem of having so much over unity. What do you do with it? There's so much energy. So anyway, there are people on this planet that have that. I've held those devices in my hand. I know firsthand they do exist. And they've had to be shelved and, put on the shelf due to certain individuals within the oil companies that have their own little group that goes out and makes sure these things don't get on the market. So, they make your life hell. They terrorize your family. They, and if you don't sign it over and so they can put it on the shelf, they'll, put you underground, basically. So that's that program. And until people figure that one out, they may keep staying that way. But hopefully there's some major awakenings going on within our own black projects. And there's a lot of scientists in there and humanitarians in there that are waking up, and they want to get this information out and get this technology out because they just can't sit by and watch this planet get, completely destroyed by, these certain groups that just want to keep you enslaved through dependency. So anyway, that being said, so now you've got this fuelless energy car. So now you have a car that not only doesn't need fuel, guess what? It doesn't need tires because it's counter-gravity or it's anti-gravity. It doesn't need tires. And you can actually punch up from 0 to 7,000 miles an hour in no time at all. And they have their own fields, just like you're cruising on this Earth, whatever, 1 billion miles an hour. If you do all the math, because we're spinning, at I can't remember if it's 1,000 or 2,000. I think it's 1,000 miles an hour we're actually spinning on this Earth, and you don't feel it. Because of the gravitational forces and the way it works. And we're also moving through space at an incredible, at an incredible speed. So you add all that together, and we are just screaming. But we don't even know it. We're just sitting here. Everything's cool. Things aren't flying around. And it's because of the fields, the way it's working. Well, these ships are just like a little mini planet. They have their own fields. And they can do this. They can experience massive G-forces, make right-angle turns at several thousand miles an hour, and it doesn't even affect them. They can do just phenomenal things. We've seen that. We've filmed that. Thousands of witnesses come here to see that. So anyway, it's hard for us to get our box stretched out to the fact that basically we could be running our engines on water. It's even harder to stretch it out to realize we could be using magnetic motors. And it's even harder to realize that we could be using 0 point, for our transportation needs. And then we could go one step further and say, we don't need tires, and we could wake up in the morning and have breakfast in Australia, Africa, or anywhere else we wanted to go to. And, in just a matter of minutes probably. So anyway, that's what we could be. That's the civilization we could be if it weren't for these forces. And we would have conquered most of disease, and the wars would be over and everything else, because these same groups here are the ones behind all the wars and the perpetuation of most of the diseases. So anyway, we've got quite a situation going on here. This same group is pretty much responsible for the lack of evolution on this planet. Now, these higher dimensional beings that are coming in, the ultradimensionals and the greater family of man, we call these off-world visitors, have transcended war and disease. They have these technologies. They can offer us a quantum leap in consciousness and evolution. But again, we have to make that step. We have to rise to the occasion, which just isn't being done right now on the planet. So it looks like we're going to have some very hard lessons ahead of us. It is happening. There is evolution. People are waking up, and that's what these energies are doing. They're waking people up very fast. So, but anyway, it's getting. This is going to be quite an interesting ride, with the shifts and the energies happening here. I wanted to get back into these shifts that are coming in. So basically what we're seeing is that everything is being pushed to the surface. All this dark, gooey consciousness and energy and whatever else is happening, the Gulf oil spill is showing us just how sick we are, And it's pushing, everything is coming to the surface because this higher consciousness and energy is accelerating everything. It's accelerating karma. It's bringing everything into the light. Everything is surfacing. And just like a stew, all the dross, all the garbage, everything is like boiling up to the top. You wipe it away, and you have this wonderful stew underneath. And that's pretty much what's going on right now. So, we are going to, make it through this shift. We are eternal souls. Some may check out and have to come back in diapers later, just because they weren't listening or paying attention. But that's okay. In the big eternal scheme of things, that's all right. We're all eternal. We get to come back. So, and figure this one out. But the information that we're getting, both on an inner level, we've been getting this for quite a few years now, and then with Dolores Cannon and all these other people doing progressions, rather than they're doing hypnotherapy, and rather than regressing people, they're taking them forward. And people are seeing that, the Earth does go through a huge shift. And what she was saying is that there's actually going to be two worlds. There's going to be a frequency shift. And those who are just basic good people are going to make it. They're going to make the shift. And the people that want to continue with the reckless greed and the just total self-service and acts against humanity and nature, that group is not going to fare too well. They're going to have to experience the reaction of their actions and finish out their karma, on a lower level. So basically, whether it be a timeline shift where we move into a different timeline, whether it be one of these just splits, into the mini world theory where two worlds, become, or one world becomes two, just like a cell dividing. Who knows? I don't have all the answers on that. I don't know exactly how that's going to happen, but the physics is there to explain it. So here at the ranch, I've talked about this quite a bit. We have people disappearing and reappearing here quite often. And we have a lot of monks that come here and doing their practices. And because the energy is so high and it is a vortex here, the veils are very thin. And people are vanishing. And we actually have, a lot of photographs. My whole presentation at the conference was talking about that, about the people vanishing, doing these ancient Tibetan techniques. So anyway, I think that's going to happen. It's a matter of frequency. It's a matter of that critical mass point, which we're all moving towards, and there's a lot of people helping us reach that critical mass point where we do make this shift. So anyway, they're telling us the next 2 years are going to be real challenging for some people. It's going to get very, very interesting. Now, going back to the conference here and some of the classes we teach, this is an interesting thing that I find it humorous, basically, because, and I wrote an article about that, and a lot of people on the newsletter read the article, but